to a new edition of France in Focus. I'm Nadia Sharbi, and this week you join us outside a deserted Parisian high school as we look into the impact of the COVID-19 crisis on France's education system. Since nationwide confinement was implemented on March 16th, France's 12.4 million school children have had to find new ways of learning. And President Macron's announcement that at least some classes would reopen starting on May 11th has thrown up almost as many questions and concerns as the virus itself.
From nursery to sixth form, French schools are set to reopen on the 11th of May. For education workers, it's a race against time. They've got less than a month to get everything ready. The headmaster of this school in the suburbs of Paris has tricky decisions to make so that as many students as possible can come back to study without putting their health at risk.
Si demain on devait imaginer l'accueil de quelques élèves dans la salle de classe, on a, je pense, largement les moyens de les répartir en éliminant la moitié des chaises notamment, voire davantage, pour pouvoir en accueillir, on va dire, une dizaine dans une salle qui au départ peut en accueillir 36.
There are several other things to consider too, like whether to keep the canteen closed and whether to alternate between small groups of students at a time for each class.
Ce qui est certain, c'est qu'il ne peut pas y avoir des grands groupes. Il est hors de question d'avoir des classes bondées dans la situation actuelle. Ça, c'est une certitude.
For a month now, most children have been homeschooled. It's been tough for the families, but many are nevertheless worried about seeing their children go back so soon.
Très sincèrement, moi la première, je pense pas que j'aurais remis les enfants à l'école ne sachant pas où on en est vis-à-vis du virus et de la propagation.
Schools will also need a lot of hygiene equipment to hand. Masks and sanitizer are expected in even the smallest teaching establishments. There remain a lot of questions about their use.
On se pose des questions, comment les enfants vont réintégrer l'école, savoir si les enseignants seront en mesure de pouvoir les garder sans qu'il y ait de problèmes sanitaires. Donc est-ce qu'on va devoir mettre des masques pour tout le monde, les enseignants, y compris les enfants?
From the 11th of May, schools will have to juggle the need to educate with the need to compromise. University students, on the other hand, won't be going back until September.
Well, clearly COVID schooling is no walk in the park, and it's made even more difficult for those pupils who don't have ready access to a computer or the internet. But authorities and charities are working to bridge that gap. Take a look.
Today, Juliette Poisson is making a special delivery.
Bonjour, on s'est vu au téléphone hier pour l'arrivée de l'ordinateur.
The lucky recipient, Rebecca, a primary school student. And thanks to this computer, she can continue her schooling despite the lockdown.
Je pourrais travailler, je pourrais discuter avec la maîtresse pour faire les devoirs. Ça va beaucoup m'aider. Je suis très contente.
She's not the only one. Rebecca's mother, too, is relieved. A nurse, she couldn't afford a laptop with her salary and worried her daughter would lose motivation. Until now, they relied on her cell phone for Rebecca's classes.
C'était vraiment difficile parce que le téléphone, quelquefois, la batterie n'est pas solide. C'est petit et puis on ne voit pas bien. Et puis, donc, il était un peu triste de ne pas revoir les amis et de ne pas pouvoir suivre le cours avec la maîtresse.
Par exemple, taper un texte, tu vas utiliser ça là.
Juliette's organization also teaches the students how to use the computers.
L'enjeu pour nous aussi, ça va être comment nos bénévoles, ils aident les jeunes qu'ils accompagnent à manier l'ordinateur, à être à l'aise avec, qui permettent dans la période de confinement de sortir un peu de chez soi.
Rebecca is not the only student to benefit from this vital resource. In this warehouse, 200 used computers are inspected one by one. According to the National Education Ministry, 8% of students have stopped participating in remote schooling. To slow the trend, this charitable organization decided to purchase laptops with donations.
On s'adresse à des jeunes qui sont vulnérables, qui vivent dans des foyers souvent assez défavorisés et pour lesquels la scolarité est souvent très fragile. Et on s'aperçoit en fait que pour ces familles-là, en fait, le risque de décrochage est très important.
By the end of the month, the organization hopes to provide 10,000 children with remote classrooms.
Well, for more on how France's education system is handling this crisis, we can cross now to our guest. Stéphane Crochet is the Secretary General of the SE-UNSA Teachers Union. He joins us now from his home in the Dordogne region. Hello.
Bonjour.
Thank you very much for being with us. First, what's the feedback you're getting from teachers during these difficult times?
C'est vécu avec pas mal de pression. Donc,
they're under a lot of pressure. People are starting to find their stride, but it's still hard. Hard for teachers, but also for children and their families.
And what are the main challenges?
Older pupils have already acquired some homework habits, so that helps, of course.
Par ailleurs, qui du coup réussissent à peu près à fonctionner.
But for preschool kids, from 3 to 10, there was no such structure in place.
On n'a pas du tout ces habitudes-là, et donc
so as teachers, we're trying to offer simple tools that parents can easily get to grips with.
Aux élèves qui soient assez faciles à appréhender par les familles, mais c'est
But getting the balance right is tough, especially for kids who are already struggling at school. We don't want home to turn into a nightmare for them.
Les plus fragiles dans leurs apprentissages pour que tout ça ne tourne pas au cauchemar à la maison.
Now, French schools should reopen at least partially from May 11th. That's going to be a huge challenge.
Il y a toujours et encore beaucoup
We're still figuring it out, so obviously it doesn't seem feasible to let all the children go back to school at the same time.
Tous les élèves de se retrouver et de se retrouver tous ensemble dans les écoles et les établissements. Donc vraiment,
the real aim should be to gradually allow pupils to return, possibly in shifts, and only once all health and safety concerns have been fully addressed. The children will probably need to alternate between classes in school and more learning at home.
Une alternance entre le présentiel et le travail à la maison.
But we really want to see them again, to reconnect before the school year ends.
And are teachers voicing concern?
Right now, there's certainly a lot of apprehension, and it would be a huge failure, not just on the part of France's education ministry or of the government, but of society as a whole, if tensions came to disrupt the next step of this process. After staff worked so hard over the period of weeks and even months to preserve the link with their pupils.
Toutes sortes de systèmes pour réussir.
And offer them what amounts to tailor-made solutions to get through this time and keep studying.
Well, let's end on a positive note. Is perhaps a silver lining to this crisis the fact that French society no longer takes its teachers for granted?
Yes, I think French society is really doing some soul-searching right now on how it regards and treats its teachers. The individual link we've been building with each family is really a timely reminder of how vital school and our role as teachers can and must be to society. We've had some really amazing positive feedback from parents, and that's great. That's the type of recognition we need, and it's evolving into wider social recognition. And we hope it will also now translate politically.
Stéphane Crochet, thank you very much.
Je vous en prie, merci.
Now, while for most French teachers, adapting to the online learning format has proved a challenge, for some it's been more of a revelation, and a handful have even found unexpected but well-deserved YouTube stardom.
Bonjour à tous, petits et grands, et bienvenue dans l'émission de La Maîtresse part en live.
And we're live. Marie-Célène Letorque has reconstructed her classroom at home. The teacher from the northwest of France is under quarantine, but she's not forgotten her pupils. Every day at 3 p.m, she starts streaming on YouTube.
Un temps de rituel, comme vous pouvez le voir derrière moi, avec le petit train des jours. C'est une autre façon de préparer la classe, c'est une autre façon aussi d'enseigner parce que forcément on n'a pas le répondant des enfants, mais je me prends au jeu et j'imagine les enfants qui sont devant leur écran en train de crier le manteau il est vert, on est lundi, donc ça c'est génial.
The lessons are as close as possible to the real thing and the children still take part.
H-I-J-K L-M-N-O-P.
The parents appreciate it perhaps even more than the kids do.
C'est important et puis À la maison, ils tournent vite en rond, les enfants, donc ça leur permet de faire une petite coupure et puis on reste un peu dans la façon de faire de l'école. Ce qu'on, nous, parents, on ne perçoit pas forcément, sachant qu'on ne fait jamais de cours avec eux à l'école, quoi.
Marie-Célène is helped out by her husband, who luckily works in internet video production. The technical side of things also happens at a distance.
Notre réalisateur de l'émission en direct, il est à Limoges. Donc en fait, on envoie les flux vidéo par la fibre directement à Limoges, il fait le montage en direct et il envoie les flux sur YouTube et sur Twitch en même temps.
The class just keeps on growing. Pupils attend from several regions in France and even further afield.
De la Réunion, de la Martinique, de la Guadeloupe, d'Asie, de Santiago, quoi, c'est... Ça traverse, oui, c'est bien au-delà de mes 26 élèves.
She's reached 6,000 subscribers in just 2 weeks, but she hopes to get back to her real classroom soon, which for the moment is still silent.
And on that, we're leaving this edition. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to France 24 and stay safe.